Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruiseman's Garage. Today we're going to install a Pinlock fog-resistant shield onto a Sena Impulse modular helmet. Or at least that's my goal, but I do have a tendency to take things that are very simple, turn them into something really complicated. Let's hope this is not one of those times.
This video is sponsored by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Video Series.
Okay, so what we're going to need for this, if you have a Sena Impulse helmet, in fact, no matter what kind of helmet you have, the procedure for installing a Pinlock is very similar. I did it in a previous video a few years back on an HJC helmet. Some of you have probably seen my Sena Impulse helmet, which is a modular helmet. In fact, I've got the modular opened up. I've got my brake free on the back. Love the brake free, but I'm not going to use that today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be removing this clear lens that's on the front of the helmet, and hopefully we'll be able to install this Pinlock shield, which I have right here. I've got my little Sena donut that I'm going to use to set the helmet on to keep it from rolling around and getting scratched. And what this does, just in case you're not familiar with what a Pinlock shield is, it is basically just a little plastic shield that goes on the inside of your face shield, and it kind of creates, I guess you could say, like a little bit of a dead air space between the outer shield and the inside of the Pinlock, and it prevents, or at least, well, yeah, I'd say it prevents the shield from fogging up in cold weather. And right now we're down into the 40s here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I noticed the other day when I went for a ride, the inside of my shield starts fogging up. Then what you have to do, you have to kind of crack it a little bit to get some cold, drier air in, because your breath and everything causes it to fog up. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to have to remove this clear shield off the helmet, and then we'll see if we can't figure out how to install this. Now, it does come with instructions, and this is what the shield looks like. You'll also notice on this shield there is a small raised edge. It's kind of a little rubber or silicone edge, and that edge is what's going to butt up against the inside of my face shield. The smooth side is what will be toward your face. So because it's like a little gasket, it creates like a little dead air space, you might say. So we're going to get this all cleaned up, and we're going to install everything. Okay, what do I have to do this with? I have a little bottle of distilled water here that I'm going to use to clean my shield. I have my favorite microfiber cloth. This is my favorite one for cleaning clear plastic. I use this on my windshield on the motorcycle, and I also use it on my face shield on my helmet. I have found this is the best. It's kind of a waffle design, and I'll put a link in the description of this video to all this stuff. Not much, really, just the rag and maybe the Pinlock website or Pinlock shield. You do have to make sure you have the correct Pinlock for your helmet and your face shield. They don't all fit. They're all the same. They're unique to usually to each helmet. So make sure you have the correct one. So let me get the helmet on here. And I've never removed this face shield before, but they're usually pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let me put this on like this. And you'll notice when you open, let me open up this shield. In fact, let me just close this. When you open up this shield, you'll notice there is a little release here. If you pop that down, that will release that face shield and allow it to pop out. I'll have to play with it. But usually that's like a little spring-loaded lock. There we go. So that side is out. And we'll go over to the other side and do the same thing. And we'll just pop this off, and now we've got our face shield off the helmet. Okay, now the Pinlock is going to install on these little pins, that's why they call it a pin lock. So you'll see a couple of, if you have a helmet that accepts a pin lock anti-fog shield, you'll have these little pins installed on the inside of your face shield. So that's what you want to be looking for. You'll notice a couple of little slots on the edge here. Get that up here where you can see it. See that little slot? That's going to slip inside of that pin, and that is what's going to hold this in place. So now what I want to do before I install anything, obviously, is I want to make sure that the inside of this face shield is clean. I want to get it as clean as I can, and to do that I'm just going to use plain distilled water and my microfiber, and I'm just going to spray it down a little bit here. And what I like about this microfiber is it not only is very absorbent, but it does not scratch. It's a very soft, gentle microfiber, and it's great for clear plastic. One thing you want to always do, though, anytime you're using microfiber or anything to clean polycarbonate or acrylic or any kind of plastic, clear plastic, you want to make sure you're using a fresh, clean microfiber. You don't want to introduce any debris that might scratch the plastic, because when you have this on your helmet and you're looking through it, you're going to see every little flaw that's in that plastic. So we want to make sure it's as clean as possible. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go over it again with one of these super soft, it's like a little eyeglass cleaner microfiber, and this is more of a little polishing rag, and I just want to go over it, make sure I've got it as clean as possible, because otherwise you're going to take the pin lock out to clean under it, and you might have to do it once per season, but usually with that little rubber seal on the pin lock, it stays pretty clean. So I don't think we're going to have to do that, hopefully. And you can see the pin lock shield does come with instructions on how to do this whole process. Okay, so I've wiped down the inside of this pin lock. So as we're looking at this clear shield, you'll notice this is the bottom of the shield. I've got my little tab here that you normally use to close and open the shield. And the way we're going to install this is we're going to kind of flex this shield a little bit to get it to flex open, just because I will need to be kind of spreading it out like this. I'll kind of flex it a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about the orientation. This pin lock shield has a curved edge, and a flat edge. And the flat edge is actually going to go at the top of the clear shield, and the curved portion is going to go toward the bottom, down toward this tab. So the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of spread this clear shield out a little bit. I'm going to put this first tab in like this, get it slipped into place. By holding this shield apart and popping the pin lock in the opposite direction, we can get the other pin in place like this, and make sure both of those pins are in that slot. And then okay, so as I've got those pins in, now I'm kind of pushing that pin lock shield into place, and you want to make sure this rubber gasket is sealed all the way, it has full contact. But that's right now, that's what it should look like. As you can see, the flat edge is toward the top, the curved edge is down here at the bottom. I still have this protective I still have the protective film on the inside, which I can go ahead and remove now, and it just peels right off. Now removing it is the same, just the opposite. You kind of bend the shield, you'll pop up that pin lock in the reverse, so it's kind of bowed, and it will fall right, it'll come right out. because the only thing holding it in place is friction on those two little pins. So right now I'm just going around and looking. It looks very, look at using my light here, it looks very clean. I don't see any major spots that maybe they're on the outside of the windshield. It looks very nice, because if I had to take it off and clean under it, now would be the time to do it. I see one little mark down here, but I believe that's on the outside of the shield. It is, and really out of the field of view anyway. Yeah, it looks very, very good. I'm happy with that, and that's basically what it should look like right there. And there we have it. So now we're ready for our winter riding without having a fogged up windshield. Hey, if you like this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments on your own experience with putting on a Pinlock shield, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks again for joining me today. And remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.